Hello, we are getting ready to start Lesson 8 in Module 2. So make sure you have your Lesson 8 materials ready to go, and we'll get underway with Lesson 8. All right, so we're going to start with a problem. I'm going to push this up just a little bit. If I had 70 centimeters, and I wanted to add something to that 70 centimeters to get 100 centimeters, I would have to think to myself, well, what would my number bond be if I wanted to add something to 70 to get to 100? So I'm going to actually do the number bond. 70 is a part of 100. I just need to find out what the other part of my number bond would be. So 100 take away 70 would give me 30. Because 30 centimeters and 70 centimeters would give me 100 centimeters. All right? And I do need you to remember that 100 centimeters is the same as 1 meter. That's going to be an important part of your sprint today, is knowing that 100 centimeters and 1 meter are the same thing. All right, let's try another one. Let's do this. Let's ask ourselves the question, if I had 80 centimeters and I wanted to add something to that to get 100 centimeters, what would I have to add to 80 to do that? So I'm going to make my number bond with 100 and 80 up here. What would I have to add to 80 to get that? And I know that if I take 100 and subtract 80, so 100 take away 80 gives me 20. So it would take 20 centimeters to get my number sentence to equal 100. So 20 would be the other side of my number bond. Do you see how I'm using subtraction to help me with this addition problem? Okay, we're going to do a couple more of these so that you can see the pattern of what's happening here. What if I had 60 centimeters? If I had 60 centimeters and I wanted to add something to 60 to give me 100 centimeters, or I could also say that that would be the same as 1 meter. I could make my number bond, which would be 100 centimeters and 60. What would I have to get, whoops, sorry, didn't want to do that. What would I have to do in order to find out what the other part of my number bond would be? Well, I know that if I take 100 and subtract 60 in my head, I know that I would get 40. So 40 is the other half of my number bond. Therefore, 60 centimeters plus 40 centimeters would get me to 100 centimeters. And I could use my number bond to help me with that. Okay, let's try another one, shall we? Let's do 30 centimeters plus something to get me to 1 meter, or the same thing would be 100 centimeters. And I can use those interchangeably because you know that they have the same value. So 100 centimeters with 30 centimeters, and I want to get, so I understand what I would have to add to 30 in order to get 100. So 100 take away 30, because I'm looking for this part of my number bond, would be 70. So 30 centimeters plus 70 centimeters would get me to 1 full meter, or 100 centimeters. So I know that 70 would complete my number bond. All right, let's try another one. Here we go. We're going to try one or two more. What if I had 80 and I wanted to know what should I add to 80 to get 100 centimeters or 1 meter? They're both exactly the same. So I'm going to make my number bond with 80 and 100. And I'm trying to figure out what would belong here. Well, I know that if I take 80 take away, or 100 take away 80, that would give me 20. Therefore, 80 centimeters plus 20 centimeters would give me 100 centimeters or 1 meter. So I can use my number bonds to help me figure out how to get to a full meter or 100 centimeters. Let's do 40. So I'm going to start off with 40 centimeters. What would I have to add to 40 centimeters to get 100 centimeters? or to get 1 meter, because they would be the same. So I'm going to give you just a second to think that through. Make your number bond. 100, 40 is here. What would I have to add in order to get 100 up here with this equation? So if you're thinking 100 take away 40 would give me 60, you can just about do that one in your head. You should be able to by this point. Therefore, 60 centimeters plus 40 centimeters would give me 100 centimeters or a meter. Okay, now we're going to try one that's a little bit harder. We're going to do 21 plus something will give me 100 centimeters. This is the kind of problem that you're going to be doing on your sprint today. We're going to be saying, what would I have to add to 21 to get me 100 centimeters? So I'm going to start with my number bond, 21 and 100, and I'm trying to figure out what would need to go on this side of my number bond to make that happen. So I want you to think in terms of, if I do 100 take away 21, I'll find out what the other portion of my number bond is. So 100 take away 21 equals, well, I know that I'm going to break this apart into something that's a little easier for me to work with. I'm going to break it apart into 20 and 1, because it would be easy for me to take 100, subtract 20, which would give me 80, okay? And 80 take away that 1 that's left would give me 79. Therefore, I know that the other side of my number bond would be 79. So 21 centimeters plus 79 centimeters would give me 100 centimeters. Okay, now I know that looked a little bit complicated, but if you think about what we've learned up to this point, this really isn't that difficult. What we're starting to look at is the relationship between addition and subtraction as far as a number bond goes. We're going to try another one. Okay, we are going to try, let's try 23. If I had 23 centimeters and I wanted to think, what would I have to add to 23 to get 100 centimeters? So I'm first going to start with my number bond, 23, and I want that to be equal to 100, so I'm trying to find the other side of my number bond. And I do know that if I subtract 100, take away that 23, 100 take away 23 will give me the missing piece of my number bond. Now, I think if I break this number apart into numbers that are easier to work with, like 20 and 3, I can say 100 take away 20, 100 take away 20 gives me 80. Okay, so 100 take away 20 gives me 80. Then it's easy for me to say 80 take away 3 gives me 77. Therefore, the other side of my number bond would be 77, and 23 centimeters plus 77 centimeters would give me 100 centimeters. So I'm using my number bonds, and I'm also thinking about the relationship between addition and subtraction as I'm looking at my number bonds. So let's do another couple of these, because these are the kinds of problems that you're going to be doing on your sprint today. Let's come down and let's try what would I have to add to 49 centimeters if I was going to equal 100 centimeters, okay, which would be the same as 1 meter. Don't forget that 100 centimeters and 1 meter are equal to each other. So I'm starting with my number bond of 49, and I'm trying to get that to 100. So what would the other side of my number bond be? So I'm thinking in terms of, if I subtract 49 from 100, I can find the other side of my number bond. So I'm going to take 100, take away 49, would give me the other side of my number bond. But to make this problem easier to work, I'm going to break this apart into 40 and 9. I'm going to break this apart into 40 and 9 because 40 or 100 take away 40, that's an easy problem to do. 100 take away 40 gives me 60, and 60 take away the 9 that I have left gives me 51. So the opposite side of my number bond would be 51, because 49 plus 51 would give me 100. So 49 plus 51 centimeters would give me 100 centimeters. All right, so I am using what I know about my number bond to help me come up with the opposite side, and I'm also using what we've learned about breaking numbers into simpler combinations of subtraction to make it easy for me to do that as well. Whoops, I noticed that I had a little boo-boo, that should have been 60 take away 9. It looked like I had written a 69, but it would be 60 take away 9 would give me 51. We're going to try one more of these if we could, so I'm going to erase my board, and we'll try another, and then we'll move on to the sprints and see how you do on those. So let's try 56. I'm going to add 56 centimeters to something that's going to equal 100 centimeters. Okay, so right off the top, I'm going to make my number bond with 56 and 100, and I need to find out what the other side of my number bond would be, because that will help me to know what I would have to add to 56 in order to get 100. So I'm going to start with 100 take away 56. So here's 100 take away 56. That's what we're trying to figure out at this point. I'm going to break this apart into 50 and 6. I'm going to break that apart into 50 and 6. So I'm breaking 56 apart into 50 and 6. That way I know easily that 100 take away 50 gives me 50. And I still have 6 that I need to work with, so 50 take away 6 gives me 44. So the opposite side of my number bond would be 44. Therefore, I know that 56 centimeters plus 44 centimeters would give me 100 centimeters. Okay, very good. So if you need to practice a few more of those on your own, you are welcome to do that, but I am going to move us on to the sprint for this lesson. So get your pencil and your eraser ready. Remember, you have 1 minute to get as many problems done as you can. Now, this is kind of a new concept for you, so if you don't get as far as you usually do, I don't want you to be discouraged. You're just going to go as far as you possibly can on this sprint. I'm going to get my timer set for 1 minute, so get your pencil ready and begin. Don't give up. Keep going. Try your best. You can do it. And stop. Okay, so let's see, how far did you get? You might not have gone as far as you usually do on your sprints, but don't let that be a deterrent for you. I made it to about 12 of those problems in that 1 minute. So let's take a look and see how you did. I would have to add 90 to 10 in order to get 100 centimeters. I would need to add 70 to 30. Or I could say 100 take away 10 would be 90, 100 take away 30 would be 70. So I would need to add 50 to 50, not 55, but 50 centimeters to 50 centimeters to get 100, or I could say 100 take away 50 would give me 50. I would need 30 centimeters for this one because 100 take away 70 would give me 30. 10 centimeters for number 5, and then we would need 20 and 40. These first few weren't too hard. 40 and 60 and 80. Then things start to get a little bit more interesting when you get in this part of your sprint. So 21 plus 79, 77, 75. That's how far I was able to get in that 1 minute. 63, 62, 61, 51, 50, 48. Whoops, I think I might have made a little boo-boo there. Let's go back and see what I did wrong. I think I just made a little boo-boo here. So we had, oops, I sure did. I made a boo-boo. Can I try that again? Miss Starr did not pay attention. I need to fix that. So we are on number 13, and I apologize for that, my friends. So we are on number 13. Number 13 was not 63, but 73. I'm so sorry if I goofed you up on that. 63, 62, 61, 51, 50, 48, 44, 42, and 38. Coming over to the second side here, I don't know if anybody got this far, but just in case you did, 38, 28, 8, 71, 61, 41, 11, 12, 32, 82, 85, 45, 56, 45, 12, 67, 34, 1, 89, 85, 83, and 81. Did you notice that over on the second column, if you made it that far, if you made it over that far, did you notice instead of showing you 100 centimeters, they started showing you 1 meter, which is the same, my friends, as 100 centimeters. So hopefully you didn't let that throw you off if you made it that far. I would be surprised if you made it that far because this is a pretty new concept to us and we are just barely starting to figure out how to do this one. So I'm going to say that I got 12 right on that sprint, and I am now going to try the second sprint, and you're going to do the same thing. Don't get discouraged, get as far as you can, and then we'll take it from there. So get your pencils ready and just do your best. Ready and begin. Don't stop. Even if you only get one more problem, keep going. Hey, there's your time. Your time is now up. Let's take a look and see how you did on part B. So we're making a meter. So 99, 90, 80, 60, 40, 20, 10, 30, 50, 70. Now that part right there should have been pretty easy for you. If you got that far, and then you started having a few problems, don't beat yourself up because these other ones were a little bit harder. But you can do it with practice. You'll be able to get so that you can do it. So we'll take a look at, I would have to add 69 to 31, 67, 65, 63, 61, 50, 41, 40, 48, or 38, 34, 32, and 28. Now, did you notice over on this column, if you made it that far, then instead of having 100 centimeters, now they're using a meter. So hopefully you paid attention to that fact if you made it that far. If you didn't make it this far, don't beat yourself up because it's new for you. You'll get better at it as time goes by. All right, 28, 18, 72, 62, 52, 55, 57, 66, 76, 86, 88, 90, that one was pretty easy, 89, 67, 45, 78, 12. That one was easy because I only needed one, and this one was easy because I needed 99, 95, 93, and 83. So this time I did get a little bit farther. I got clear up to 17. So this time I got up to 17, and before, I don't remember what my score was before. What was my score before? My score before was 12. So I did make a nice improvement from 12 to 17. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 more right. So if your score wasn't really high, I don't want you to beat yourself up because it was a different way of looking at things that we haven't done before. And we're going to continue to look at things that are a little bit different than what we've done before, but we will be fine. We'll be able to get there. So we are going to be taking a look at our centimeter ruler. And let's see here. Looking at our centimeter ruler. So now we have a centimeter ruler, but notice that our beginning point and end point on our rulers are not where they have conventionally been up to this point. So we're actually starting line A. We have to figure out how many centimeters long is line A. It's starting actually at the centimeter 6 and ending at centimeter 14. Now there's a couple of ways that you could figure this out. We're going to start with the easy way first. All right, so I have to think about how many centimeters are there between 14 centimeters and 6 centimeters. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, my goodness, it's a good thing nobody's in here with me right now because I just sneezed. All right, so let's take a look and count. Let's use our rainbow counting. We're going to start at 6 and count up to 14. So I have 1 centimeter, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I know between 6 centimeters and 14 centimeters, there are 8 centimeters. Now I could do that by counting with rainbows, but I could also do that by setting up an equation. I ended at 14, my friends, and I subtracted 6 down to 6. So 14 take away 6 would give me 8. So whether I counted with rainbows or set up an equation using 14 and counting back 6, or counting back to 6 would give me 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I was counting back to 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because 14 take away 6 is 8. Now we're going to do the same thing for line B. Now just to make this so I don't get confused, I'm going to erase this part. And I think it would probably be a good idea for you too, because now we're starting a different problem. I'm going to erase that part, and this time I'm trying to find out how long line B is. I'm going to start at 2 and go to 11. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 centimeters between 2 and 11. So there are 9 centimeters. So that means that this line is 9 centimeters long. So I could also set that up as an equation by saying, well, I ended at 11 and went back to 2. So I ended at 11 and went back to 2, and there would be 9 spaces between 11 and 2. And we counted those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that would put me at 9 centimeters. Now I need to figure out how long are these two lines together. Together, line A and line B measure how many centimeters? Well, I'm going to look at how long line A was, which was 8 centimeters. And how long was line B? That one was 9 centimeters. Then, if I want to set up an equation, that's easy because I'm going to combine them and put them together. So 9 centimeters plus 8 centimeters equals 17 centimeters. If you came up with 17 centimeters for that, congratulations. Of course, I was helping you through because this is the first time we've done this kind of a problem. I'm going to help you with this next one too, and I'll let you try the next one by yourself. So line A, that's this line up here, line A is how many centimeters longer or shorter than line B. So I am taking a look at line A, which was 8 centimeters, and comparing that with line B, which was 9 centimeters. So I'm going to set up an equation to compare those two. 9 centimeters is how much longer than 8 centimeters? Because I know this one is shorter than this one. So 9 centimeters take away 8 centimeters. Did you think, well, Miss Starr, that's easy. That's 1 centimeter. So line A is 1 centimeter shorter than line B. All right, so that's getting us started. This is the kind of thing that you'll need to be able to do when we do our exit ticket today. So you need to be paying very close attention as we continue these particular activities. A cricket jumped 5 centimeters forward and 9 centimeters back. Now you'll notice that I am using cubes because I'm circling the numbers. I'm going to box important words, or underline the question. So a cricket jumped 5 centimeters forward. I'm going to box that because that's an important word. And then he went 9 centimeters back. Then he stopped. That's an important keyword. Then he stopped. If the cricket started, there's an important keyword, on 23, where did the cricket stop? Okay, so they're not telling us where the cricket stopped, but they are telling us where the cricket started. So if I go 5 centimeters forward and I went 9 centimeters back and then stopped, where would that put me? So I'm thinking about the fact that if I started at 23, because they've told me I'm going to start at 23, and I'm going to go forward, I would count forward and then count back and see where you end up. Okay? I'm going to have you pause the video and you try that on your own. Okay, are you back? All right, I hope that you're back. And let's take a look at that. So I'm starting at 23 and I'm going to count ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which puts me at 28. So if I was going to write an equation for that, that would be 23 plus 5 puts me at 28. So I started at 23, counted ahead 5, and ended at 28. Now that's only half of the problem, because now I have to go from 28 and count back 9. Did you do that? So I'm going to count back 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like I ended right there. So what I'm thinking is I started at 28, I went back 9, which would be subtracting, and I ended up at 19. So if you said that the cricket stopped, the cricket stopped at 19 centimeters. You are absolutely correct. So the cricket stopped at 19 centimeters. All right, so we're going to continue on to the next page of our set here. And we're going to move into something just a little bit different than we've done before as well. But it's kind of fun, and I think that you will enjoy it. So we're going to look at this interesting path here. We're going to try to figure out how long it is from here to here. Now, it's not exactly a straight line, but that's okay because each of the parts of the path are 4 units. That's an important thing to know. So this part here is 4 units. And this part here, from here to here, is 4 units. And from here to here is 4 units. And from here to here is 4 units. So I've got 4 and 4 and 4 and 4. Can I keep going with that pattern? So from here to here is 4 units. From here to here is 4 units. From here to here is 4 units. And from here to here is 4 units. Wow, that's a lot of 4s. The question I'm being asked is, what is the total length of my path in length units? So they didn't tell us what that unit is other than the fact that this is 4 units and 4 units and 4 units, 4 units, 4 and 4 and 4 and 4. How many 4s do I have there? If I'm going to find out the total length of this path, I'm going to have to see how many 4s I have, so I'm going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it looks like I've got 8 4s. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to add that, but I do know that I can add 4 and 4 pretty easily. So if I said to myself, well, I've got 8 groups of 4, so I'm going to write down all of those 4s until I have 8 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now let me just double check that I've got 8 4s. 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so I know if I add all of those 4s together, I will find out what my total unit length is. That's a lot of 4s to have to add. But don't make it difficult for yourself. Do things that you already know that you can do. Can you add 4 and 4? Well, of course you can. 4 and 4 is 8. Another 4 and 4 is 8. I've got another 4 and 4. That gives me 8. And I have another 4 and 4. That gives me 8. Well, I have simplified that down quite a bit now. So instead of having to add 8 4s, now I'm going to be adding 4 8s. Well, I think I can handle that. That doesn't look too hard for me. I can add 8 plus 8 is 16, and 8 plus 8 is also 16. So this is a little carrot, a carrot method that helps you to be able to add harder numbers together. So now the only thing I have left to do is to add 16 and 16. I'm going to come over and rewrite this with 16 plus 16. And I'm going to see if I can figure out an easy way to add those numbers by making or taking 10. So I think what I am going to do is I am going to break, I'm thinking to myself, what would I have to do to get 16 up to 20? Because that would be a lot easier for me to add if I was working with groups of 10. So I'm going to break this 16 apart into 4, because 16 plus 4 would give me 20. And that would leave me with 12 that I would need to finish my number bond, because 4 and 12 would be 16. Now, if I add 16 and 4, 16 plus 4 would give me 20. And then what do I have left that I still need to work with? Well, I would have to add 12 and 20. Well, is that going to be easy for me to do, to add 12 and 20? I think so. So 20 plus 12, I'm going to add my 1s and my 1s. That gives me 2 1s, and my 10s and my 10s. That gives me 3 10s. And after a little bit of trial and moving myself forward with things that I know how to do already, I can come up with the fact that this pathway is equal to 32 units. It is equal to 32 units. All right, so we are going to only do part of this problem. We are not going to worry about route B. We're only going to figure out how long route A is. So I'm going to cross these two out because we're just not going to go there. So we're not going to be worrying about route B right now. We're just going to worry about route A. And we're going to try to find out how long route A is. And I don't want you to worry about route B for right now because we just barely started doing this. So I know that from here to here is 5 meters. So, and we're not going to do route B, and we're not going to worry about 7 meters either. We're just going to worry about just route A. So if from here to here is 5 meters, then from here to here would be 5 meters. And from here to here would be 5 meters. And 5 meters here, 5 meters from here to here, 5 meters from here to here, and 5 meters from here to here. Now, based on the fact that we have 5 meters here, 5 meters there, 5 meters, 5 meters, 5 meters, 5 meters, and 5 meters. If I could add all of those 5s up, would I be able to tell how far route A is? Now, I'm going to ask you to think about what we did up here. Pause the video and see if you can figure out what route A is. Pause the video. Are you back? All right, let's see what you did to solve this problem. I know that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 5s, 7 groups of 5. Now that should be pretty easy for me to add, so I'm going to add one group of 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups of 5. Now, believe it or not, my second grade friends, this is getting you ready to start multiplication. I know that just sounds really weird that you could be doing some things that will lead you to multiplication here before too long. So I can just do problems that are easy for me right now. 5 plus 5, 5 plus 5, 5 plus 5, and I have another 5 left over here. 5 plus 5 is 10. 5 plus 5 is 10. 5 plus 5 is 10, plus this other 5 that I haven't used yet. All right, now if I add those 3 10s together, 10 plus 10 is 20, plus 10 more gives me 30. 10, 20, 30, boy, that was easy to do, plus the 5 that I haven't used yet. 30 and 5 gives me 35. So I know that my pathway is 35 meters long. And you know what? I could skip count that too and double check myself. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. If you got that one right, you are doing absolutely amazing. All right, so now we're going to come back to what we were doing just a few minutes ago when we are looking at some different ways of looking at centimeters and measures. So I'm going to put a starting point and an ending point on these two lines that have been drawn for you. But notice that my centimeter ruler does not start on 0. We're actually starting at 12 and going to 26. But don't let that freak you out. We can do this. We can handle it. I know we can. We're going to try to figure out, first of all, how long line C is. We're going to figure out how long line C is. So in order to do that, I'm going to start at 16, and I'm going to be ending at 26. And let's count and see how many centimeters there are between 16 and 26. I want you to try that without me. So shut the video off, or just pause it, and then we'll check it together. Put it on pause. Okay, are you back? All right, let's count between 16 and 26. Here we go, rainbow counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and last one is 10. So I know between 16 and 26, there are 10 centimeters. Now I could set that up as a number equation as well. I'm going to start at 26 and take away 16 where I ended. 26 take away 16, of course, is 10. So I've done this two different ways. I've rainbow counted, but I have also set an equation to help me solve that problem. Now, just to make things easy, I'm going to erase what I did on problem C, just so I can do problem, find out how long D is. I don't want to get confused with stuff I already have there. All right, so we are going to figure out problem, or line D starts at 12 and ends at 19. So I don't want to get confused with stuff I've already done. So I need to find out how many centimeters there are between 12 and 19. Well, if I used my equation, I could do it that way first. So I'm going to start with, well, actually, I'm not going to. I'm going to tell you to stop the video, put it on pause, and see if you can figure out how long line D is, counting how many centimeters between 12 and 19, and also setting up an equation to solve that. Okay, so pause the video. Are you back? All right, so I'm going to start with the equation this time. I ended at 19, and I counted back to 12. How many spaces are there between 9 and 12? Well, 19 take away 12 would be 7. So I'm thinking there are 7 centimeters between 19 and 12, but I'm going to count that. Here we go. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boy, I am absolutely right on. Congratulations to me. So I'm going to have you try C and D on your own. C and D are going to be combined, and then on letter D, you are going to do line C is how many centimeters longer or shorter than line D. All right, shut the video off and give that one a try. Are you back? Okay, well, let's combine line C and line D. Well, that would be easy because 10 plus 7, 10 for line C and 7 for line D, gives me 17 centimeters. Did you come up with 17 centimeters? I hope you did. Now, line C was 7 centimeters. I'm going to write that up there. And line D was, oops, sorry, I got that backwards. Line C was 10 centimeters. That would make a difference. And line D was 7 centimeters. So I know that line C is longer than line D, but I need to know how much longer. So line C is how much longer than line D? Well, pieces of cake. Did you think 10 take away 7 equals 3? If you did a beautiful job. And line C is 3 centimeters longer than line D. All right, so far, not too bad. Now, let's take a look at problem number 2. So this looks kind of long, but I think you'll find it to be pretty easy. An ant walked 12 centimeters, and he went to the right, okay, on this ruler. And then he turned around, that's important, and he walked the other direction. He walked back 5 centimeters, and this time he's going to the left. His starting point is marked right there. So his starting point was marked on the ruler, and that was 11. So where is the ant now? Okay, and you're going to show your work on the broken ruler. You know what? This one is really easy to do. You need to count forward 12 and then count back 5. See where that puts you. I'm going to have you shut off the video, and then when you come back, we'll take a look at it. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and count. So the ant started at 11 because that's what they told us that our starting point was 11, and I'm going to count ahead 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I'm ending at 23. But that's not where I have to go because now I have to come back 5 centimeters. So I'm starting at 23 and I'm going to count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this was going to the right, this one was going to the left, and it looks like I ended on 18. So where did the ant land at? So I would say the ant is now on 18 centimeters. How'd you do? Did you do pretty good? If you didn't, go back and try it again because I'm sure if you keep practicing, you will get better. All right, so we're getting ourselves ready for that exit ticket, but not quite yet. We're going to try problem number 3 at this point. All the parts of the path below are equal lengths. So they're all equal. So again, we're looking for how far it is from this point to this point. And I know that right here is 3. So that tells me that this part right here would also be 3. Okay? I'm going to put this one in a box because I think that might help you. So you're going to need to fill in the lengths for each one of this. It tells you to fill in the empty boxes with the lengths of each side. So I have done from here to here would be 3. From here to here would be 3. How much would it be from here to here? You're going to write it there. And from here to here, how far would that be? And from here to here, how far would that be? Then you have to tell what the length of the path is, how many units long. And then you're going to have to tell me how many more parts would you need to get the path to be 21 units long. So let's start with this one. And then I think I'm going to have you wait on letter C and we will work that one together. So that one's a little more interesting. So for right now, I'm just going to have you try doing 3 and do part A and part B. And then we'll look at part C together. All right, pause the video and we'll see just exactly how far you get. Okay, very good. So now, let's fill in those empty boxes. This is going to be 3 because all of them are of equal length. Did you catch that? That's important. They're all equal length. Okay, and this one would be 3, and this one would be 3. All right, so how many 3s do I have? Let's see. I've got, how many 3s do I have? That's not very hard, Miss Star. You can figure that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 5 groups of 3. So let's write those down. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Is that 5 3s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is. So now I'm going to remember, I'm always trying to do things that are easy for me to do. I know what 3 plus 3 is, and I know what 3 plus 3 is, and I think I can add 3 again. So 3 plus 3 gives me 6, and 3 plus 3 gives me 6, and I still have 3 more that I'm going to need to add to that. Can I keep simplifying things and making it easier and easier for me to do? I think I can. I know what doubles is. 6 plus 6 is 12, and I still have 3 more that I need to add, and 3 plus 12 is 15. So what is the total length of my pathway? Well, it is 15. 15 units in length. All right, so if you got that part right, you should be very happy because you're getting yourself on the way to understanding multiplication, because multiplication is nothing more than repeated addition. All right, so now let's just sneak on down to this next problem. It's not really that terrible, but I think maybe I'm going to help you through this one. How many more? There's my big important question. How many more parts would you need to add to the path to be at a length of 21 units? So I'm going to start with 15. And I'm going to add another 3. So 15 plus another 3 gets me to 15. What does that put me at? Does that put me at 18? Am I at 21 yet? So far I've used 1 more unit to help me. So this time I'm going to take 18 and add 3 more to that. and see where that puts me. So 18 plus 3 more, ooh, look at that, put me at 21. So how many more units did we need to get to 21? Well, I think you can count that. There was 1 unit and 2. So 2 more parts to make it to 21. That was an interesting problem, and I just thought maybe it would be fun to at least try it. All right? And now I'd like you to try number 4 on your own. I'll read it with you, but then I want you to see if you can solve it by yourself. So the length of a picture is 67 centimeters. This would be the length, how long it is. The width of the picture is 40 centimeters. How many more centimeters is the centimeters is the length than the width? So we are going to compare the length and the width. All right, so I need you to figure out how many more centimeters is the length than the width. I'm going to let you try to set that up all on your own, and then we'll come back and check it in just a minute. So pause the video. We're looking for the difference. Are you back? Okay, so I'm thinking if my width is 67, or my length is 67 and my width is 40, what would be the difference between those? Because I want to know how many more centimeters it is long than it is wide. So I would need to subtract. I'm going to subtract my 1's and my 1's. So 7 take away 0 is 7. And 6 take away 4, well, that's pretty easy, would be 2. So 67 take away 40 would be 27 centimeters. And if you were successful on that, very huge congratulations to you. All right, so now friends, on our exit ticket, I need you to remember to put your first name and your last initial and today's date for whatever day you're doing this. And this one's got a couple of little tricky parts that I want to help you out with before I set you to work on it. It says use the ruler below to draw one line that begins at 2 centimeters. So we're going to begin at 2 centimeters and we're going to end at 12. We're going to start right there first. So I'm going to start at 2 and I'm going to end at 12. So I'm going to draw a line then that starts at 2 and ends at 12. Now you're going to need to do this before you attempt to do this problem. So here I am. I'm going to draw a line that starts at 2 and ends at 12. There I go. Starts at 2 and ends at 12. And I am supposed to label that one R. So there's the one that starts at 2 and ends at 12. Okay? Then I have to draw another line. Okay, and I'm going to do this line down below. So this line is going to start at 5 and end at 11, and I have to label that one S. This one was labeled R, and this one, next one, is going to be labeled S. So it's going to start at 5 right there, and it's going to end at 11 right there. So I'm starting at 5 and I'm going to end at 11. So I'm going to come down here about right there and about right there. So I'm going to draw that line, starting at 5 and ending at 11. So there's that one. And what was I supposed to call that one? I was going to call that one line S. So before you try to start your sprint or your exit ticket, if you'll get those two things set up, then it will be a lot easier for you to be able to do the exit ticket. Now I'm going to read over it with you because this is kind of new. So you are going to find out, you're going to add 3 to line R and add 4 to line S. So first of all, you need to figure out how long line R is. They didn't really tell you to do that, but I'm going to tell you it will be hard to add 3 centimeters if you don't know how long this one is to begin with. Then they're going to want to know how long is line R now that you've added 3 centimeters. Okay, and then you're going to add 4 centimeters to line S. And how long is line S now? They want to know, is the new line S, that's this one, is it how many centimeters longer or shorter is it than line R? Okay, so you're going to have to think things through as you finish up this, and then you're going to send your answer on this exit ticket. Send your answer to your teacher, and then we can check and see how you did. All right, so make sure that you set this up first with line R and line S, making sure that you're following those instructions, and then I'm going to tell you that we are done for today. We're looking forward to seeing your answers. Bye-bye.